CB tech stuff. Been a while. For me anyway. Not for you. Been maybe a few weeks since I uploaded a video. I'm doing something I said I wasn't gonna do. And I'll just show you. I'm back on the boat. It's over there. I had it covered because it just started sprinkling a while ago. Don't want anything to get too wet. Well, I got the battery on the charge. Of course, this is the battery I bought last year. It's got no charge at all right now, for some reason. I think I found part of my issue in the boat. And I forgot to disconnect the fish finder that I installed. And I think it was draining power. So I'm probably going to have to rig up a switch or something for that. Or just disconnect it whenever I'm not using it. So that's fun. Other than that, I'm going to charge this battery up. Today I'm going to try to do something I've learned about. Let's get my stuff. I am going to attempt a seafoam shock. Got 2 cans of seafoam. I'm probably only going to use one for the actual seafoam shock. Use the other to clean out the oil system. Got a fuel line kit with a new primer bulb and a hose. That was like 14 bucks at Walmart. Those were about $6 a piece. And I've got a small 1-gallon gas tank I gotta go get in my truck, and a couple empty 1-gallon jugs I brought from work, and a little plastic hand pump that I'm going to use to get the old 2-stroke oil and also the gas out of the gas tank. Do my best to clean this thing out. And if I can get the battery charged in enough time, today I'm going to attempt to do some troubleshooting on that and see if there's any other areas I need to figure out where it's draining power from. I just looked at a table here from a battery manufacturer that showed Mercury motors, and it should require about 525 marine cranking amps or 450 cranking amps at 0 degrees, which this battery exceeds on both, even if it is a deep cycle battery. It turned over the motor in my last video. It just wasn't sparking. So it's either carbs or injectors, whatever this boat has, are clogged up, or whatever regulates the spark. Either the power pack or the coil packs are bad. And I've already replaced the power pack once. So I'll do what I can today. Maybe I'll get lucky and if it'll crank. Highly doubt it. Not gonna hold my breath. And after that I get paid next week, so probably this coming Friday or next Monday I will attempt to take it to the boat shop. Alright, so I just realized something. My first plan isn't gonna work because of the way the tube from the fuel filler cap goes down, because it goes down and kinks up, so I can't go straight down with my little bubble pump I borrowed from my job. So instead what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to use it to get all this oil out. It's 2-stroke oil. And I'm going to disconnect off the motor there, the old fuel line, and use the primer bulb to pump out as much as I can into this gas tank. Probably going to reuse this gas for like chainsaw or weed whacker. Yeah, I made the mistake of putting mixed gas in a oil injected outboard boat. Don't make that mistake, people. Don't do it. Anyway, alright, it's not raining right now, so I better get on it. I'm gonna start with the oil. Alright, I just finished getting the 2-stroke oil out of the reservoir. I used this. Oh, this is like a soap pump. It had some leaks in it. Little hose part of it. It worked okay though, I got most of it. There's just a little bit in the bottom I wasn't able to get, but this is what it came out with. Looks like it's about half a gallon? Yeah, about half a gallon. I'll try to reuse that somewhere. So same thing with the gasoline, which I'm about to try to take out with plan B. Since I can't use that pump down to the gas tank because that gas hose is not straight, I am going to I'll hold on to this for now. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to use the existing fuel line, disconnect it from the motor, and then use a primer bulb to kind of pump it into the gas tank. I might hook this hose up, and take part of this hose and hook it up to the existing line. Alright, well, I just finished draining the gas up. By the way, look at how stiff of this fuel line is. It cannot be good. I'll see if I can figure out how to replace it. In order to get the old gas out, I had to cut this end off. It might come back to bite me. It looks like in order to replace the fuel line, I'm gonna have to pull this off where the seat goes down and get to where the line hooks into the tank there, if I can get that plate off. But yeah, that took a lot of pumping. This tank wasn't about right here with the gas I had pre-mixed before, and now it's right here, nearly full. So there was probably at least 4.5 gallons of mixed gas in there, or at least mixed gas plus the old gas and maybe the other gas I added in, trying to offset it. I think there's a little bit of seafoam in there too from the last time I tried to crank it. But that's pretty much purged now, so I think the battery's going to take a while to charge, so let's see about this fuel line then. Alright, so something I just did, after something I realized. Real quick, this Atwood brand fuel line kit from Mercury's, which I picked up for 14 bucks at Walmart. It's not made to go in these kind of boats. It's made to go in like small boats that have a small gas tank, and I figured that out. Well, obviously the picture, but the way they designed it was the short side from the bubble had the part that hooked up to the fuel tank. This little quick connect here, which goes with that adapter. Come on, autofocus, will you? Yeah. And then goes with that hooks up to this adapter, which I don't know if I'm gonna end up using this or not. The one in the boat, the OEM fuel line, has a metal threaded adapter that threads into the fuel tank, or into a 90 that goes into the fuel tank, which I'm going to try to reuse after I do the seafoam shock, if I get around to that today. The battery is still charging, but anyway, something I just did. I used a Dremel tool to cut the clamps. Make sure those are right there, because these suckers are a pain to get off. So I just cut them, popped right off, wiggled them out, pried them out with a screwdriver, and I'm swapping the ends. So this end, which goes to the motor, is now on the short end, just like it should be on the OEM. I probably could have, well no I couldn't. I tried to put this one back in. This is the old one. Back in the old rubber line, but the old rubber line is just too stiff and it's too chilly out here. It's like 57 right now. And I don't want to risk heating that hose up and catching the boat on fire with a campfire lighter, so I'm just gonna go ahead with trying to reuse this, or use this new hose. It needs it probably anyway. So this is the old connector to the motor, and this is the new one. Probably gonna work a little bit better, hopefully. I did clean this one out with some brake cleaner. It had some gunk on it, so I'll hold on to it for now just in case. Of course, I'm now using these simple hose clamps. I really wish they'd just use these from the factory instead of these pieces of junk. I'm gonna leave that other end off for now, because if I do the shock today, I'm going to have to basically run that into a small gas tank. This one, actually, this 1 gallon gas tank with a gallon of probably premium or, well, good gas instead of like regular standard gas, less water in it, higher octane, plus a whole can of seafoam. If I can get the boat to turn over, and hopefully in the process that'll clean out the carbs, injectors, and all that. I don't really count on the boat actually starting though, given the last experience I had with it. And if I have time today, if the battery will charge up faster, I will try to go through the fuses, just in case, to see if I have any power draw other than the GPS. If I go to town today, which I might do later, might look into getting a little DC flip switch and maybe tie that in at a later date so that I can actually turn the GPS power draw on and off manually. Probably have that mounted to the dash. So there's that. Alright, so after a little bit of fighting it, I went ahead and put one of the cans of seafoam, well, most of it, into the mostly drained oil reservoir. And I put a little bit in the gas tank too. I had to use a little pumping apparatus because it wouldn't pour straight down, and of course in the process of that, it broke. So that's the last use of that I'll probably ever get. Just fine, I got it for free, it was never being used anyway. The battery is about half charged. I'm not going to do anything else until the thing is mostly charged, to the point where I can at least try to turn this thing over. And then if that's successful at all and all that, I'll take the fuel line, hook it up like I said I was going to. In the meantime, it is currently almost 2 o'clock. I've been at this since about noon. I'll probably hold off on that switch idea until much later. Oh, by the way, this PVC apparatus is something my dad came up with. He used a bunch of scrap PVC to kind of make these to where the water wouldn't pool up as bad. Unfortunately, this one actually broke right over there, the 90. I guess under the weight of the water. It helps a little bit. Still getting a little bit of moisture in the boat though. I tilted it up earlier to kind of get the fuel to move back. And water started dripping out of the bottom of it, so that's nice. There's apparently a bunch of condensation in there. I mean, it has been sitting for about, let's see, October, about 5 months. I'll come back to this probably in a couple of hours. I got some other things I need to do. Alright, it's been a couple of hours. It rained a little bit, so I had to wait for that to pass. Let the battery charge for a little bit. It's probably going to take a lot longer for this thing to charge, since I'm using a 1.5 amp charger. But it's got enough power where I can move the motor up and down, and it makes its beeping noise. Get the motor moved down so I can put a little bit of oil in it. It's up to here right now. I'm sure you can see it better than I can. I've got the little fuel line hooked up. Down over here, the gas tank with some 93 or 89 octane gas. Mixed with seafoam. Got the key. Alright, got everything hooked up except the bonus crap. And I'll just see if this works. It's not. I have no idea what those noises mean. Can someone please tell me what those mean? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not sure. Not enough juice. I'm gonna have to let this battery charge longer. And I'll probably revisit this again in a couple of days. again, YouTube. It's me, your boy. And it is March the 26th, Friday. I just got the boat back from the shop, as you can see behind my truck. I'm currently sitting in the Walmart parking lot. Alright, so the boat has been in the shop for the last 2 weeks. I took it in Friday, 2 weeks ago exactly. Right after this, well actually no, it was not before this, let's check it. The boat needed a lot of work. Yeah, oh, where to begin? I wish he had got me an invoice. Here's the breakdown. First off, the stator was busted. That goes, your whole electrical system goes. That was $300. Diagnostics was like another $200. They had to replace the trigger because when the stator went out, the trigger burned up. That was I think $150 part. They cleaned out the carbs. They were gummed up. Don't know how much that cost, but at that point, he was at about $850 in costs. And then the last thing they did, after they got the motor running, was they had to replace the water pump because the motor was overheating. That was another $150. So overall costs was gonna be about $1,050. But he cut me a deal at $1,000 because I had asked him please keep it under $1,000 originally. After he told me the whole $850 thing. At that point, he didn't know if he was gonna replace the water pump or not. That was Monday. Anyway, today's Friday. I wrote the man a check for $1,000, and I got my boat back. It's a little bit bittersweet. I really didn't want to spend that much on the boat. I had initially thought of selling the boat. If the cost went to $1,000 or higher, I'm gonna go ahead and just keep it for now. I put all the money into it. I want to get some enjoyment out of it. I at least want to enjoy this summer out of it if I can. Then after that, we'll see if I'm still interested in it. Oh, I've come up with a name for the boat. I hereby dub it the SS Penny Pincher. I'm thinking about actually putting that on the boat at some point. I'll have to get some stickers or something to put letters on the boat. I'm gonna take this thing home, park it, and probably next time you see this boat on Monday, I'll be putting in the charger maintainer that I ordered from Bass Pro Shops. I ordered one of their XPS ones because it was the cheapest one I could find for 2 battery banks. I already got the adapter for it, the little through-hole plug adapter right before it did. So, talk to y'all next time. Peace. First off, I apologize for all the background noise. Second off, I went to the post office a while ago, and looks like my battery charger came in. This is the Bass Pro Shops XPS 4.4 8 amp 2-bank marine charger. It is made by Pro Mariner, I believe, and the adapter, which has already showed up, is also made by Pro Mariner. Let me get this box out. Huh, okay, I pulled the box out and it kind of fell apart. And there's packing tape around it. That's not very reassuring at all. And the box is kind of bunched up too. It was delayed shipping. I wonder if that has a reason to do with it. This thing better work. I'm gonna be mad if it doesn't. It's not breakfast. Here's the manual. This thing's bigger than I thought it would be. Everything appears to be here. I wonder if this was a display model. This thing's chunky. Chunky. One of these got some weight to it. There it is. There's the charge status buttons, the trouble status. It's got 2 leads. That's what I wanted. Fused lines. The loop rings. Nice long cord too. I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna mount this thing. I'm gonna eat my breakfast and then figure that out. Alright. Charger, adapter, both battery trays. Let's get to work. Alright, I've got that installed. I got these trays installed and I got it vacuumed up. End up putting that right there. I'll tidy this up with some zip ties here in a second. Then I'm about to put the batteries back in. Alright, everything's hooked back up. It is charging. Let's try this. Yes! That was exactly what I've been waiting for.